Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Pete Mundo, HeartlandCollegeSports.com. It is officially college football season. I know the Big 12 not starting until next week, but it's week 0. College football will be played this week, and I know that you're just as fired up as I am. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. Texas Tech naming starting quarterbacks. We'll get into all of that. But first, I want to just take a moment to travel down the path of nostalgia, if you'll join me here. The Big 12 is entering its final season and its current model of 10 teams. We know that no matter what happens with Texas and Oklahoma, whenever they end up leaving for the SEC, we know that next year, UCF, Cincinnati, BYU, and Houston are all coming to this league. So even if OU and Texas hang around, it's going to be a completely different look and a completely different feel. And I'm saying this as someone who's covered this league for years, as someone who is a fan of this league, as someone who loves the Big 12 top to bottom. Let's enjoy this final ride. I know you can sit there and say, I'm pissed, I'm ticked off at Texas and OU, screw them, I can't wait for the new Big 12. And I feel the same way. Like, I understand, as I've said many times, why Oklahoma and Texas are leaving. I've said it many times. But at the same time, you can be mad at them, as I am, with how this has all went down. And I'm also wildly excited for what's to come in the Big 12 Conference. I'm pumped up for road trips to Provo, Utah. I am thrilled to have a footprint in the state of Florida. I can't wait for Houston to play Baylor and TCU and Texas Tech and feel like the old Southwest Conference. And I cannot wait to tap into the Ohio Valley at another team in that region with Cincinnati joining West Virginia and have a nice 1-2 punch in that part of the country. I can't wait for all of it. But this is in many ways, this final ride for the Big 12, these 10 teams together for one final season, is kind of the end of an era. It's in many ways the end of this league, which signals the end of any regional nature to college athletics. And it's not something that we're ever going to think about again, and we probably shouldn't think about again once next year rolls around. But the Big 12 has been unique. You know, when you think back to 10 years ago, when Colorado left, when A&M left, when Nebraska left, when Mizzou left, and we lost some great rivalries, right? We lost Mizzou, Kansas. We lost Nebraska, Oklahoma. We lost UT and A&M. We lost all that. But we still had the anchors of this league here for the most part, right? You had 8 great teams who were part of the Big 12 from the get-go who were here. You brought in 2 newcomers. TCU, a lot of folks knew from their Southwest Conference days. They were right in the hub of Big 12 country. And West Virginia was a great cultural fit. It was not the upending of what we're about to get in the Big 12, which is OU and Texas gone, and then 4 teams, you know, from 2,500 miles away coming in. And it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Don't get me wrong. But the days of, you know, getting in the car for a long weekend and driving to your favorite road game is probably over. At least in many weekends, it's probably over. The idea of playing a round robin in football is over starting next year. The idea of a double round robin in basketball is over next year. You know, for the last 10 plus years, every Big 12 team and every Big 12 fan has known, obviously, who their team is going to play because everybody plays everybody. And you knew which year you got certain teams home and then which year you got certain teams on the road. Example, Baylor. Baylor's schedule is always tougher in even years because in even years, Baylor has to go to OU and to Texas. And for over 10 years, Baylor fans have come to adjust to that, to expect that, and to understand that, and kind of plan around it, right? Going forward, who knows how they're going to schedule, but the days of true round robins, flipping home and away every other year is gone. And for that, I do think there's something to be said for sitting back, enjoying it, having fun this last year in the Big 12 as we know it right now, no matter what happens with Oklahoma and Texas, whether they stay till 2025 or not, it's going to look different next year. Things are going to change next year. And it's the end of college football as it has been for basically 100-plus years, which is a regional sport. The Big 12 was, in many ways, the last group like that. You want to say the Pac-12? Maybe, but look at how far spread out those Pac-12 teams are, right? Look at it on a map. The Big 12 was kind of it. 10 teams, tight-knit for the most part, outside of West Virginia, an outlier, but a great cultural fit, and they had it humming. That is not going to be the case anymore. And just as we enter week 0 and I start thinking ahead and every day is going to be a roller coaster, I do want to take this moment to take a step back and just try to set the stage for what's going to be the big picture here going forward. All right, and that's what's going to be a heck of a lot of fun to watch and see how this all plays out. Pete Mundo on Heartland College Sports Weekly, part of HeartlandCollegeSports.com. We're on Facebook Live. This will be on YouTube as well. Subscribe to our YouTube page. We have a ton more videos that are going to be coming your way here on the show. And we look forward to sharing all of that with you moving forward. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we have a lot of content, I promise, that'll be up on the video side. And also, of course, we're on the podcast. We are on the podcast. We have been for years on the podcast side. We hope that you'll subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Before we continue tonight on the show, I want to tell you, people ask me all the time, Pete, how can we support you guys at HeartlandCollegeSports.com? We're not going to put any of this stuff behind a paywall. That's not part of our business model. We want to make sure as many people are seeing this and joining us as we possibly can. But you can support our great sponsors, and we are so happy to kick off this season with a great sponsor, and that is DraftKings Sportsbook. Because DraftKings is coming to Kansas. If you live in Kansas, all right, you're a Big 12 fan in Kansas, just know, by the time Big 12 football season gets here, you're going to be able to bet, all right? And right now, they are celebrating all new customers with $100 in free bets when you sign up using our promo code HCS at DraftKings. Plus, one lucky customer is going to win $100,000. Yes, $100,000 free bet. That's what's going to happen here with our friends at DraftKings. Yep, they're giving you $100 in free bets just for signing up today. No deposit required. And you'll be able to bet money line, spreads, props, plenty more. We're going to have our picks starting next week, of course, with DraftKings Sportsbook. And one person will win a $100,000 free bet when you sign up. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Sign up with the code HCS to get $100 in free bets to use on your mobile device once sports betting hits Kansas. That's code HCS for Heartland College Sports. I'll be doing that with our friends at DraftKings. And by the way, gambling problem, getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700, 21 plus, physically present in Kansas. Eligibility restrictions apply. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements, one per customer. $100 is issued as 4 $25 free bets. No purchase necessary for sweepstake. Void where prohibited. And first day, DraftKings is allowed to operate in Kansas. See terms at dkng.co/KS. Meantime, let's get to what's happening right now in Austin, Texas. The Texas Longhorns have named Quinn Ewers their starting quarterback. They named him their starting quarterback for week 1 on Friday. But it was weird. If you were following this story, here's what happened. So on Friday, reports come out from Orange Bloods, Chip Brown at Horns 247, all these credible places. They all come out. And they report that if the season were to start today, Hudson Card's the favorite. He is the favorite to be the starting quarterback for the Texas Longhorns. And everybody was like, whoa, no, can you believe that? Quinn Ewers, the former #1 overall recruit, transfers in from Ohio State. Hometown boy is back in Austin, and he's not going to be the starting quarterback? People were stunned. Within 2 hours, within maybe 3 or 4 hours of that, all right? But it was by lunchtime, suddenly Steve Sarkisian announces that, guess what? And it's weird how he announced it. We'll get to that part. Quinn Ewers is the starting quarterback. What happened was Texas SID John Bianco was talking to the media. And I guess what then happened is Bianco goes, oh, by the way, Quinn Ewers is the starting quarterback week 1. Sark told me to tell you guys. And everyone's like, what? Wait, what? He's the starting wait, we were just all hearing and reporting that Hudson Carr is the favorite and he's going to be the starting quarterback. So what do you mean? What are you talking about? Yep, it's Quinn Ewers. So either all these credible sources, credible folks had their sources wrong or their sources were wrong, or something happened after the leak of Hudson Card came out. Where, and I'm just speculating now, all right? This is going down speculation road. I don't have the answer here. But what I do know is that it's never simple at Texas. What I do know is that there's always drama at Texas. That is what I know. All right? And would it shock me? Would it shock you? If when reports surfaced that Hudson Card was going to be the guy, there were plenty of loud voices in the room, as has happened too many times at Texas, who started hooting and hollering about how Quinn Ewers, 5-star dude, local kid, comes in from Ohio State, all the hype in the world, he's got to be the guy. I don't know it. I'm just throwing it out there. All right? I'm just throwing it out there for conversation because none of this makes any sense. How often is it that Orange Bloods and Horns 247, some of those credible people in that town, were both reporting the same thing, and then suddenly the other guy gets picked a couple hours later? Make it make sense. I cannot figure that thing out for the life of me. But that's what ended up happening on Friday down in Austin. So once again, this whole Texas is back thing, spare me. Let's see it on the field, and then we can have that conversation, all right? That's what it's going to require. No ifs, ands, or buts, no other questions. You got to just win some darn games, and let's go from there. That's it. That's the only conversation to have for the Texas Longhorns. Meantime, elsewhere, at Texas Tech, Tyler Shough gets the nod for the Red Raiders. And that was, I don't know if you've seen this, but that also was a weird deal. All right, now, I'm not shocked that Tyler Shough got the job. Tyler Shough is a guy who, when he came into Texas Tech from Oregon before last season, I don't know if you saw this, but he was projected in some places to be a first-round NFL draft pick prior to last season for the 2022 NFL draft. Now, obviously, he got hurt last year, didn't work out, so he was never going to go to the NFL. But people believe he's got that kind of skill set, that kind of arm, and that kind of talent. So I'm not shocked at all that he ultimately ended up getting the nod from Joey McGuire. But what I will say, what was strange to me about this and how this all went down, is the statement that was put up by none other than Joey McGuire. So Joey McGuire said in a statement, Tyler has a great football IQ and has really captured what we want this offense to look like this season. As I've said all along, though, we fully intend for Red Raiders fans to see all three of these quarterbacks throughout the season. This is as gifted a room as I've ever seen. And I'm willing to put the depth of our quarterback position against anyone else in the country. I know both Donovan Smith and Baron Morton, and will be ready when called upon, as they have certainly earned the respect of myself and their teammates. Now, why would Joey McGuire, in announcing his starting quarterback, feel the need to go out there and let the fan base know that, oh, you're going to see all three guys? Why was that important to him? Why did he feel the need to do that? I don't have the answer. I don't know the answer. But it feels like a statement that was unnecessarily long. Tyler's our guy. He had a great camp. It was a tough battle. All three guys had their moments. We're going with Tyler. That's all he had to say. That's all that he should have said. Why does the fan base need to know that Donovan Smith and Baron Morton are going to play this year? I mean, what does that mean anyways? Donovan Smith going to have a goal line package? Is Baron Morton going to get some cleanup duty against Murray State? And if that's the case, who cares? Why is that a big deal? Why does the fan base have to know that? All the fan base wants to know and really cares about right now is who's starting week one. It feels like it's cutting off, in many ways, Tyler Shough at the knees. That's what it feels like. That's the perception that I have looking at this thing from afar. That it was like, yeah, Tyler's our guy, but maybe not. Like that's the perception, and that's the takeaway that I had when reading that statement from Joey Maguire. And I'm a huge Joey Maguire guy. I am so rooting for Joey Maguire to get things on the straight and narrow in West Texas. But I thought that was an odd way. I thought it diminished Tyler Shough, and I thought it unnecessarily told the fans something that really doesn't matter and is irrelevant right now to the grand scheme of things. Now, let's go to some of your comments on Facebook Live. Let's see what we got there. Bart, I'm a Big 8 person, so I'm sad my Sooners are leaving the nest. Yes, I would be as well. Pete, Texas Tech's record before Big 12 play begins. They've got a tough non-conference. Murray State, at NC State, and then Houston. 1-2. 1-2. That's why, as much as I think that Joey Maguire is the guy, I don't like the over this year on the win totals for him. I think it's 5.5. I've got the under mostly because of that non-conference schedule. That non-conference is tough as heck. 2 top 25 teams. Possibly the best group of 5 team in America in Houston, and an NC State team that's in the top 15 in the country. So, if you go 1-2 in non-conference play, if you're Texas Tech, then to hit the over at 5.5, you've got to go 5-4 in Big 12 play. I just find that highly unlikely that Texas Tech is going to go 5-4 in Big 12 play this season in a league that is so competitive, top to bottom. So that is going to be a tough sell to sell me on the over. I'm taking the under, and it's mostly because of that non-conference. That is brutal. Absolutely brutal for the Red Raiders. First-year head coach, new systems on both sides, and then you got 2 top 25 teams right after Murray State in the non-conference. That's a no-win. And that's not a knock on Joey Maguire. That's not a knock on anybody. That's just what I think is a realistic look at a guy who's got to rebuild this program. All right. Also, Facebook Live, Damien, there are some hints that OU and Texas are leaving next year. Yes, I've seen that as well. I'd like to see Brent Venables have a few years to develop these kids and build the D before the SEC move. If we do, in fact, go early, we're not going to be ready. Understandable, Damien. I've heard that theory from Oklahoma and from Texas, by the way. The thought down in Austin is maybe we just wait till 2025 so we don't have to pay tens of millions of dollars to get out of this league to go get our brains beat in the SEC. I mean, they get their brains beat in the Big 12, so it's not going to change much. But for OU, yeah, I would feel the same way about getting just making sure that the program is where you want it under Brent Venables. And the reality is it will be easier in the Big 12 than the SEC to do that. That's not, I'm a Big 12 guy, but I'm not going to BS you. The SEC with OU and Texas is obviously the best league in America, hands down. So, yes, it would be easier for them to get this thing rolling in the Big 12, make sure you're on the right track before making that move. So we'll see if that ends up happening. I'm Pete Mundo on HeartlandCollegeSports.com. Great to be with you guys on Facebook Live. Hope you'll also be checking us out on Twitter. We're on Twitter, a couple followers away from 7,000, so hit us up there. Instagram, we got plenty more content coming your way, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. So appreciate you guys. And don't forget, if you're in Kansas, if you're a viewer, a listener in Kansas, right now, use our promo code HCS. You get $100 in free bets when sports betting goes live in Kansas here in the next several days or so. So be sure to get on that with our promo code HCS. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. College football is here this weekend, and we can't wait. Take care. We'll talk to you soon here on Facebook Live and on YouTube.